All right, Coach, well, just talk about the weekend as a whole, the things you liked, things you didn't like.
I didn't like losing. Things I liked, the first match, we were not playing our best, and we found a way to dig out of that funk a little bit. I thought the first and third sets against Concordia St. Paul, who is the number 2 team in the country, we were up 22-20 in the first set, we were up 24-20 in the second set. So I liked that we pushed to that point. I don't like that we didn't finish. Some individual contributions. I felt like, Rain Thompson had 20 kills in that last match against Northwood, and that was kind of a great thing to see from her. Megan Meyer also had a really productive offensive game against Northwood as well. Outside of that, there's a lot to learn, right? Maybe I didn't like, maybe saying things I didn't like is not the right way to say it, but more of what I learned that we got to be better at serve receive and defense and blocking. Those were really, really poor against Northwood, especially. One stat that you can track that almost mirrors set wins and losses is side up percentage. So the percentage of times you have an opportunity to get the ball back and your success rate at that. And in the second set, Northwood sided out at 90%, which is an insane number. Usually you're right between 50 and 60 if you're playing well. And so to see that was pretty tough, but all learning. And we came to the gym yesterday for practice, and the girls understood. We watched film, and they understood that we have to be better, and that wasn't acceptable. And so ultimately, we're looking forward to the weekend and an opportunity to be better and perform better.
And then, Coach, can you talk on Jacqueline Smith? Obviously, didn't see her suit up a lot this weekend. Her condition, and when we can expect to see her back on the floor.
Jackie. So she, after Thursday's match, shoulder wasn't quite right. And, we're just being cautious with her, and she's progressing and getting better. But we knew pretty much right away on Friday morning that she wasn't going to be playing the rest of the weekend. And we're just kind of taking it day by day. She dealt with something like this her freshman year, and was able to return the following week and perform. But we're going to be, and she's not a freshman anymore. She's a senior, and her body is taking some licks, and so we need to make sure that we're being really cautious with her recovery and things. So she's progressing in a positive direction, but when her return is coming, kind of TBD.
Not using it as excuses, but we talked early on in the season about having a young team. How much did that show this weekend when you fell in those games?
A lot. Yeah, they talked a lot about it. Our team has done a really nice job of being honest about things in huddles in the locker room after the fact. And quite honestly, the word we kept using after the Northwood match especially was afraid. And you just can't play scared at this level. It doesn't matter what team you're playing. Everyone's good enough that if you don't show up, you can get beat. And so, we played a lot of freshmen, and we played freshmen that maybe weren't anticipating playing this weekend. And so, yeah, it's not an excuse. Like we talk about, we've shown in practice what we're capable of. And so it's them learning how to manage their emotions in those moments and perform. And so it's just day by day. When you have a young team, you just got to keep chipping away and keep getting better. And they understand that. And so we're just looking forward to another opportunity, this weekend.
I want to ask you about one moment. You're down 2 at Concordia. You bring in Sydney and Angelina off the bench, and they kind of helped lead you in that set. Just talk about what you saw from them to win that third set versus Concordia.
Yeah, it was more of what I didn't see in the second set. We really performed poorly. I think we lost 25-12, and we just really had nothing. And Sydney had proven in practice that she deserved that opportunity. And so I just looked at my other coaches and said, I think now is the time to, we have people who we think have earned opportunities. Now's the time to give it to them. Sydney was one of them. She went out there and performed great. I think she had 5 kills and 1 error. And then Angie has always been one of the most positive people on our team, whether it's on the floor or off the floor. And same thing. She had earned opportunities, and Liv and Ken's weren't performing particularly well. And so at what point do you say, these guys aren't getting it done, let's give someone else a chance? And if we can say over and over in the practice gym that you earn opportunities in practice, you have to kind of live that mantra. And so putting Angie in there, and I think she only got set once, but that one set resulted in a kill. And, again, we were up 24-20 and had opportunities that we didn't finish. But yeah, I think both of them performed very well. And, we put Sid back in on Saturday, and she didn't get set a ton, but continues to show things. And so it was cool to see. And I think the other thing that was really cool to see was the people that she had replaced and the way they supported them. Liv and Kenzie especially in that set. And then Remy, I think, was the athlete that I had decided to take out in that moment and replace. And she was Sydney's biggest supporter. And so that's something that will pay off in the end, is our team's willingness to push each other and then also be their biggest supporter. So yeah, it was a really cool moment.
So another tournament coming up this week, more tough opponents.
Yep.
How you preparing?
Yeah, again, we talk about not making excuses, but there's realities that we're facing. And I think the realities are St. Cloud, who we're opening the tournament with, is the number 5 team in the country. And Central Washington, who we play second, is the number 23 team in the country. And then Duluth, who we play third, I believe, is the number 7 team in the country. And Southern New Hampshire was in the Elite 8 last year. So, and we're playing most likely without Jackie and our second outside, Evan. And so, gut check time, right? Like we talk about being young. Again, these are not excuses. These are realities we're facing. We're going to have freshmen on the floor. We're going to have freshmen responsible for helping us find success. And so yesterday and today we're about understanding that and just chipping away. And, it's really important for people to understand that with the makeup of this team, it's going to take time to develop that relationship on the floor. And I'm not saying that I expect us to fail this weekend, but I'm expecting there to be growing pains, and we have to continue to learn from those moments, right? The biggest thing we have to do is, after every set, success or failure, win or loss, say, hey, how can we get better? What do we learn from that moment? And so this weekend is going to be a true test. And the GLIAC is nothing's easy. And so having these first 2 weekends be as difficult as they were are only setting us up to find success in that moment. And so, yeah, so I think the team is embracing this. We've talked about it all preseason about how much of a grind these first 2 weeks are gonna be, and really ultimately all we can control is, that gym environment and what we're doing in practice to get better and learn from it. And you get all this film from those matches, and you say, hey, these are the areas we failed, and we have to be better, and just keep chipping away. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I think the team's excited for this tournament, and not having any opponent that we feel like we can just walk out and beat. We're going to show up every time.